Howdy everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome to the Ice House, where we try to keep things cool, calm, collected, and mostly a bit chill, right? And well, if you guys have, been following along in any bit of time, or maybe you've seen my clips or videos on this channel or other places, or even in the name, right? Punkwaddle. I like to say that I'm a punk, and I do what I want, right? And not to be rude or being a jerk like, maybe some junior high punk would do. It's more of, there's so much in life that can be distracting, and, the whole, seems like a lifelong process of figuring out what we like, what we enjoy, and finding the people that we like sharing it with, right? So if there's something that seems like it's just getting in the way, and maybe it's not worth pursuing it at the moment, or maybe there's things that we're drawn to and we haven't figured out why, and we're kind of confused, well, maybe it's worthwhile trying to figure out what that connection is, right? So, hopefully you can figure that out, and I'd love to be part of conversations too, because I'm still trying to figure it out myself, right? And so that leads into today's topic, which is not a review of the newly released Superman movie, because I have not seen the newly released Superman movie, right? And the irony of all this is that up until a few days ago, most people had not seen the release of the theatrical version of the Superman movie that is now in theaters nationwide, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing I find pretty interesting, and I don't think it's been as divisive as that whole Picard TV series, or Picard series season 3 about, hey, the first 2 seasons were bad, but it got better and it redeemed itself, and no it didn't, and blah blah blah, and that whole thing that caused 6 months of drama between internet channels and friends, right? That I think they eventually patched most of it up. But as you all know, these fandoms and these legacy characters, Superman's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of people that have opinions, and a lot of people have, these characters been part of who they are, and what mattered to them, and lessons they learned, and how they were taught things growing up, right? And you can't really negate that, because, in the whole culture war thing, or is entertainment valuable, it really is, and it's how we choose to interpret art, and all that stuff. And I've talked about that ad nauseum, so not really going to go into that today, but the thing I find interesting and almost entertaining, is the whole business of entertainment, and business of analyzing and critiquing and telling people what they're gonna like, what they're not gonna like, or a few years ago is, this wasn't made for you, so why aren't you buying it and enjoying it, sort of confusion. And now, I think we've gotten to the point where when it comes to all the hype and conversation and press releases of whether it's an actor that's trying to, and I didn't say that so much with the Superman film, which is nice, but an actor that's trying to basically make it all about them or their platform, or talk about things that are unrelated to the movie and what the movie's message is, or conversely you have all the interviewers that you're starting to see more and more clips of them, as Jordan Peterson would say, rejecting the premise, when the actor just kind of spits it back of, why are you asking that? Or they kind of understand, learning that the questions are just to get a soundbite, and so instead of, just letting them win, they have some sort of quippy comeback, or basically saying, no, that's what's going on. Or they can see, read between the lines and give an answer that shows that they're smart enough to figure out what's going on and not give them what they're looking for, right? But every now and then, you'll get that soundbite because people will answer a question on the red carpet because they're distracted by all the things, and and then it'll turn into this soundbite, it'll turn into this article, and turn into this sort of opinions based on things that have nothing to do with the movie, and then, for the next 2 or 3 weeks before the film shows up, all these conversations, and all these hot takes, and all these opinion pieces based on other clickbait titles and salacious comments and opinion pieces that really have nothing to do with the movie, because the original context and source for this idea was just somebody trying to get some sort of clickbaity title, right? And so, the rabbit will run, as they say. And like I said, I'm just thankful that right now, mostly what I'm seeing about the people who have actually watched the Superman movie are talking more about the fun nerddom conversations of, it's not my favorite version, or I can see how they got this from this comic and this iteration. And it's just, hey, if it was fun and entertaining, it may not be your favorite version of something, but if you were entertained and enjoy it and can have positive, good conversations with your friends, I think that's a win-win on all fronts, because I think just like the celebrities are getting tired of people trying to dupe them with questions, most of us here as the consumer are getting way tired of getting duped into saying, hey, this is something you like. We decided to paint something up that you won't like to look like the thing that you will like, and then it wasn't until you paid for all the money to go to the cinema to enjoy it, you realized you just got duped. And we don't blame the cinema, because I do think the cinema experience and going to a movie is still very Americana, right? And I don't want that to go away. I just want good, entertaining movies that can enhance the experience of going to the theater, instead of saying that I just maybe watch it at home or skim through it, fast forward to the parts I think are funny and let it lie, right? I think that's a lot of us where we're at. So, I mean, it's definitely a quandary of the whole. There's the entertainment business of creating art and, making something, a product that people will enjoy, and the business of entertainment that's all about critiquing, analyzing, and, telling people you're gonna like it, you're not gonna like it. And like, as a punk and somebody that I want to do what I want, and I want to experience things for myself so I can understand it, right? And even if somebody knew exactly what I liked and enjoyed and could tell me if I would like it or not, I don't want to see the world necessarily through their eyes, right? Now, I will say this, that having conversations and learning about something that I didn't know about through somebody else's experiences really helps me decide if I want to have that experience. But if somebody's trying to just say, you're going to like it or you're not going to like it, again, like Jordan Peterson, I'm going to reject that premise because, well, I'm stubborn and I'm independent, and I want to know for myself, right? Now, when it comes to all this hullabaloo and hype, and, I'm not hipster waddle, so I'm not one of those scenester emo kids that didn't want to work a full-time job in the early 2000s, right? I'm an independent thinker, but it's still, if it's so much hype and so much surrounding a product, or, a piece of entertainment, a piece of art, that I can't even get in the headspace to even try to experience on my own, right? Because I have too many other things swarming around, too many other opinions, that I'm going to wait till the dust settles so I can actually decide if I enjoy it. Because, once again, I want to know what I enjoy, not just use everybody's filter while I'm experiencing life, and not actually experience the life that I want, or experiencing the life that how I want to experience, just going along with somebody else's flow, right? So, Like, I remember when I was in theater, I want to say early 2000s, so 20 plus years ago, and there were a bunch of people that just wanted to push boundaries, not for the sake of art, not really for the sake of the experience of the viewer or the participant or the person experiencing the art, so that somehow by pushing certain boundaries or doing certain things for shock value to help the experience of the participant, so they can really understand and maybe even have a visceral moment of really getting what the artist was saying. They're just trying to numb people to certain experiences, which to me is the antithesis of art, or just experience in life in general, because we want the ebb and the flow, and we want the ups and downs, and we want to be able to see the comparison, or the word juxtaposition, between certain things that help us, compare, contrast, and decide for ourselves, which is kind of what I like to do here, right? So, I don't know. I probably will see the Superman movie eventually. I'm not in a hurry to, right? But that's just me. But if you're somebody that you've seen it, you've liked it, I'd love to hear that down below. But hey, I also think, again, that it's just we've gone through the war on words, where people want to use words a different way, and instead of using language to communicate, redefining words so they have less meaning and less value, and causing language barriers between people that should speak the same language. And then we have the war on culture, that deciding if something is woke or has an agenda or not, or if it's just good entertainment, or the categories that should be more explored are just bad writing, or cash grabs that's just using pop culture buzzword drivel that has no value and no meaning, that they're not woke, they don't have an agenda, they just think that they can just throw some things in, like that cool pop song, that's an anthem for about 2 weeks, then everybody forgets about it, right? And there's a lot of that stuff out there. Trust me, with all these streaming services, there's a lot to sift through. There's a lot of noise if you want to go that route. So, once again, I just want to encourage you guys to, think for yourself and pursue what you enjoy. And, like I said, there's so many people that are vying to find their 15 seconds of fame on the parasocial media, instead of figuring out how to have some sort of, again, integrity and trust between the audience, the fans, or whatever you want to call it, than the parasocial sort of connection that we have, the conversations that we have, that I think, I don't know, not sure what people are willing to sacrifice just to be the certain buzz right now, but I eventually think that some of it's going to die away, and we're eventually going to have some sort of new system and new baseline for what we trust and believe in, and how we filter out all the trolls and the crap. So, as an ever-changing target, seems like almost every day. But I am rabbit trailing, I think, a little bit more than I meant to at this point in the video. So, I really want to know what you guys think, right? Not just about Superman, but about really kind of the state of conversations, the state of figuring things out for yourselves. And I think there's a lot of normies out there that don't pay attention to X or Twitter or YouTube, that just do their own thing. They spend time with the people that matter to them. They go to work, they come home, they're exhausted, and maybe they click on a little thing here and there, and they just want to be entertained and enjoy things at the end of the day. And it's almost like they don't know about our world here. Sometimes I envy them, because it might be a more peaceful life. But then again, we all have our own shares of troubles and trade-offs, so no more wistful thinking, right? So, anyway, share it out. if you want to, like and subscribe and do all the things, or if you want to help grow the channel, I'd appreciate that. I'm just here to ponder, and, well, hope you enjoyed it. So, till next time, we'll see you later. Bye!